Story recapped here. Today, I'm going to explain a drama, fantasy, and horror film called A Dark Song. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. After arriving in a remote location within Wales, Sophia rents an isolated house after scanning every detail inside. She even bribes the realtor for privacy. Later on, she meets with Solomon, a temperamental occultist. Sophia hopes to employ Solomon's services for a goal that she wants to achieve, so he agrees to look at the house. As Solomon finishes looking around the house, Sophia offers him coffee and he notices that she's not having one. So, he observes that Sophia has already started purifying herself. Further in the conversation, Solomon starts asking Sophia about her diet. She goes into detail about how she hasn't had alcohol, kept up with strict eating habits, and hasn't done anything intimate with anyone or touched herself. Then, Solomon asks about Sophia's rite, which turns out to be the perpetrators procedure. But once Solomon hears that Sophia wants to do this for love, he walks out. Right away, Sophia goes after Solomon to ask for his approval, but he refuses to do the ritual. Therefore, she drives him back to town, still insistent on her request. At the station, Sophia still tries bribing Solomon to do the ritual with her, but he ignores it. Sophia finally gives up and tells the truth. Turns out, she wasn't doing it for love, but instead to contact her dead son. Because of this, Solomon agrees to help her, yet a bit disappointed that Sophia lied because honesty is important, especially for the ritual to succeed. Furthermore, Sophia tells Solomon that he can ask for whatever he wants. Eventually, they go back to the house, where Solomon makes sure that Sophia is ready to take on the challenge of facing real angels and demons. For this, they have to go through days without sleep, food, and other back-breaking rites, something that will truly be mentally damaging. In the next couple of days, Solomon orders Sophia to get ready and buy groceries, because once they start, they can't leave for the next few months. As Sophia loads the groceries into her car, she hears a baby crying and some chanting. Looking around the parking lot, she sees a man hunched over a baby, but suddenly she gets grabbed by Victoria, her younger sister. Over a meal, Victoria states her deep concern towards Sophia and how she's coping with her loss. However, Sophia is bitter because Victoria still has kids who are alive, so she declines Victoria's offer to take care of her. Meanwhile, Solomon is preparing the house for the ritual. That night, Solomon asks Sophia about languages she can speak, but Solomon was only trying to see whether Sophia was lying about something, ensuring that everything about her was pure. Furthermore, he tells Sophia to go for a walk before the ritual starts because they won't be able to leave until after a few months once it's done. The next day, Solomon asks Sophia one more time whether she wants to back out before he seals them inside with the salt circle. But of course, Sophia is determined to go through with it. Sophia oversleeps the following day, so Solomon douses her with water to wake her up. Furthermore, he starts berating her for sleeping in. Later on, Sophia gets angry at Solomon for waking her that way, but Solomon doesn't care. So, Sophia reminds Solomon that she's paying him to do this. Angrily, Solomon breaks a glass bowl, not caring about the money, and scolds Sophia for arguing with him. Additionally, he reminds Sophia that she agreed to his terms and that she'll do anything he tells her to do so that the ritual can be successful. So, Solomon makes her eat a toadstool to start getting cleansed physically. Then at night, Sophia gets a nightmare about the time she lost her son. The next day, Solomon orients Sophia on information about the perpetrators procedure, showing her the drawings of magic circles and triangles all over the floors. For their end goal, they aim to summon Sophia's angel so they can ask for the favors they want. But when Sophia keeps asking when the angel will appear, Solomon can't provide a straight answer. The day continues with more steps in the ritual, until later, Solomon says that he will unshackle the house from the world. So, for the next 2 days, Sophia can't leave the circle. No food, no water, not even to go to the toilet. On the third morning, they can have a break for water and food, but they will continue doing it for 6 more days. Despite the demanding conditions, Sophia braves through it, even when she ends up peeing on herself. Afterward, Sophia asks how they'll know whether they're making progress, but Solomon assures her that it is, especially after seeing a black bird hit against their window. As they continue the steps through the ritual, it's noticeably taking a massive toll on Sophia's physical body. Still, Solomon forces her to continue. However, they come to the point of the forgiveness ceremony, but Sophia doesn't concede, saying she doesn't do forgiveness. Because of this, Solomon finds a workaround by making her drink his blood. Despite her apprehension, Solomon forces her to swallow all of it. While inside her room, Sophia looks at a photo of her and her son, when suddenly she notices something missing from her belongings. Then, while talking to Solomon, she asks whether they're doing something bad, but he says that it isn't. Before they part, Sophia asks whether he's been going through her stuff because something is missing. However, Solomon is certain that he didn't take anything. One night, Sophia is listening to something on the floor and hears a sudden thud, which Solomon points out that it's them being noticed. The next day, Solomon and Sophia start getting to know each other more, and Sophia even talks to Solomon about her recurring nightmares about her son. Eventually, the time comes when Solomon convinces Sophia that they need to sleep together as part of the ritual. So, she complies with his demands of dressing up well. Afterward, he makes Sophia strip in front of him while he touches himself. However, he doesn't touch Sophia at all. Turns out, there was no need to sleep together in the ritual because Sophia needed to be pure, and he just used her to relieve himself with the pleasure. Because of this, Sophia swears at him before walking away. The next day, she exacts revenge by mixing her urine with Solomon's food. Despite their problems, they must continue the ritual, even when Sophia gets to the point that she wants to give up. Even though Solomon keeps convincing her to go through the ritual, Sophia starts feeling defeated because nothing has happened yet. However, Solomon points out that they can feel that things are happening, promising her that they'll succeed. So, they continue. Eventually, Sophia finds a flower in one of the hallways, which Solomon takes as a sign that the ritual is working because it couldn't have blown in the house. With the assurance of slow results coming up, Sophia finds a newfound determination, feeling like they're near the end. Because of this, Solomon cheers her on to continue sealing the chambers. While sitting in one of the circles, gold leaves start raining down on Sophia. Furthermore, the two start talking more to each other during their free time. But after a while, the cabin fever creeps up on Sophia and she starts feeling hopeless again. This feeling ends up with her blowing a fuse on Solomon because the ritual isn't working. Because of this, Solomon thinks that Sophia isn't telling the whole truth about her intentions. Although Sophia says otherwise, Solomon can tell that she's lying. So, Sophia confesses that she doesn't want to talk to her son. Instead, she wants vengeance against the people who killed her child. Hence, Solomon gets angrier at Sophia. Although she explains that she hid her intentions because Solomon might not have done it, he argues that intentions don't matter if she has the drive, the honesty. But since they've progressed so far, they can no longer stop. That night, Solomon wakes Sophia in the middle of the night for a part of the ritual. Because of her dishonesty, Solomon deems her impure and needs to start fresh. He makes her get into the tub and starts showering her with water. But soon, as part of the ritual, Solomon drowns Sophia in the tub until she stops breathing. Afterward, Solomon revives Sophia with CPR. Due to this incident, Sophia is rightfully angry at Solomon. Still, Solomon justifies her rebirth to get their ritual back on track. Still mad, Sophia pushes Solomon, accidentally impaling him with a kitchen knife. Immediately, Solomon takes this as a sign that the ritual is working, a repayment that he must make because he endangered Sophia's life. With the few resources they have, Sophia starts tending to Solomon. To get his mind off the injury, Solomon asks about Sophia's son, so she says that someone kidnapped him from the daycare center. Yet, the case has been closed without finding anyone guilty of the crime. Then, Solomon tells Sophia to sew him up, using the whiskey to sterilize the wound. Sophia then asks what Solomon would ask for once the angel appears. So he says that he wants invisibility, not as a superpower, but simply to live his life away from the world. After, Solomon reminds Sophia that things will start happening, but he promises to get Sophia her vengeance. But the next day, his words prove to be true as Sophia starts hearing noises all over the house, such as the sound of an infant, thudding noises behind a door, and a moving figure in one of the rooms. Looking around, she also notices a seemingly bleeding cut on the wall. As they sit together, Solomon asks what type of vengeance Sophia is looking for, so she answers straightforwardly that she wants her son's killers to be dead. Although those killers simply turned out to be teenagers playing around with the occult. While Sophia continues with the ritual, Solomon isn't doing so good, as his wound worsens. The next day, Sophia sees Solomon's condition and asks whether they should stop, but Solomon is adamant about pushing through. However, Solomon already has a hard time keeping a clear head and often forgets what's needed for the ritual. Furthermore, his wound grows worse and worse as he even starts puking. One night, Sophia gets woken up by her son's voice behind her door. Despite her son begging to be let in, Sophia doesn't bend to his request, knowing that it isn't her son. Continuously, the thing pretending to be Sophia's son starts growing irate when she doesn't let him in, even aggressively banging against the door. After the frightening experience, Sophia runs into Solomon's embrace, who reassures her that it isn't Sophia's son. Furthermore, he reminds her that it's a sign of the ritual working, so Sophia should welcome it and not fear it. Solomon tries to brave through his wound the next day, even though he already has trouble standing up. At night, Sophia feels more menacing presence around the house, such as the glowing light within the darkness of the room accompanied by a gruff, chanting voice. Later on, Sophia lies next to Solomon, trying to stay alive, but his condition has reached its final peak as he cries about missing his sister. The next morning, it comes as no surprise when Solomon dies in his sleep. Now alone inside a big house with an unfinished ritual, Sophia tries to continue what was started and goes to read Solomon's books for the ritual, only to see that everything has been crossed out and is unreadable. Sophia cries as she feels that she's doomed to fail. With no other choice, she steps outside and breaks the rule of the salt circle. Sophia walks away despite a moment's hesitation, only to find herself back in the house. Just as Solomon had warned, the ritual will keep her stuck until it finishes. Back inside, she sees her son's picture amidst a pool of vomit and Solomon's body littered in the hallway. When Sophia's candle burns out at night, she goes to relight it, only to see various demons appearing. When she checks once more, they're all gone, but growling sounds suddenly fill the house. Immediately, she runs away from the demons and locks herself in the room, making sure to prop the door with a chair. Again, a demon pretending to be Sophia's son taunts her once more. Still, Sophia uses the opportunity to talk to it as if it's her son, even though he says that he's just using Sophia's son's voice to make her afraid. The following day, the fright seems to have died down as Sophia exits the room. But then, she notices dried up leaves in the hallway. Once more, demons appear from the dark. One that looks like her son and the one who could have kidnapped him. As more demons appear, one knocks out Sophia as they drag her to the basement. All around, demons surround her and grab her. Then, they cut off one of her fingers. As Sophia screams in pain, she immediately runs away even as the demons try to grab her, whilst she keeps saying sorry. But as she almost reaches the top of the stairs, a sudden bright light saves her from the demons and welcomes her back to safety. A massive angel appeared inside the circle in the room, waiting for Sophia's favor. She keeps apologizing to the angel, and instead of asking for vengeance, Sophia asks for the power of forgiveness. Because of this, the angel smiles at Sophia. Afterward, Sophia conducts a water burial for Solomon at the nearby lake. Soon, she drives away from the house after finally completing the ritual at the cost of someone's life, her finger, and her mental state.
Subscribe to watch more videos like this. Turn on notifications. And leave a like, it really helps the channel out. Thank you for watching.